Do you guys remember that time we shot a video about a twin turbo V8 911? Well, it's back and nothing has changed. Maybe I exaggerated. It has been 6 months and there hasn't been a huge amount of progress, but Dan's got a good excuse. He's launched this new company called Augment Wheel Company, and he made himself some wheels for his 911. So I think this is maybe a logical first step to show what's happened to the car since we last visited.
Probably. Well, I mean, one of the things that I didn't necessarily mention in the first video is that as my time as an auto enthusiast and building cars, I've always dabbled primarily in Japanese cars. And in doing so, I've always put RPF 1s on my cars. Enki as a company doesn't seem to want to play in the 5x130 space, so I set it upon myself to build my own set of three-piece forged Enki RPF 1s that fit a wide-body Porsche application. And in going down that road, one thing led to another, and I ended up launching what is now Augment Wheel Company. So we're a small boutique wheel company that builds custom one-off wheels in sets of 4. So as an enthusiast, you can tell me exactly the wheel you want, and we will design it, we will engineer it, we will cut it, we will finish it, and we will ship it to your door.
And you wrap them in a Falcon RT615K, sort of a, is this a tire choice that you went with because it came the size you wanted, or did you have some love for the Falcons, or?
I have run Zennies in the past, 615Ks, and it's a good tire. I think it's a value tire.
It is a good tire,
but
yeah.
But more so, it's a size tire. Not many guys making a 315/30,
yeah.
And certainly not in the price point that I wanted to play in. So for a set of tires that I'll likely roast the first time this car starts anyway,
yeah.
On purpose,
yeah.
You know what? It fit the bill.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, he's done a few other things to the car too. Cooling up front, I think, is pretty cool.
Yep.
That's just terrible, but let's go have a look at it anyway. One of the nice things about a rear engine car like this is, look at all the room for activities up here, Dano. Yeah. What do you got going on? It's all kind of like Darth Vadered out, but there's some stuff happening here.
Well, if we remember the last time we saw the car, we kind of made a reference to installing some Renegade hybrid stuff in the front here, because we need to introduce water and we need to have a rad somewhere in the system. So what you can see from the bottom here now is the bottom of a new custom fuel cell that has a sump for some fuel pickup and returns.
Yeah.
And then also the backside of what is a V-mounted rad.
Very nice, yeah.
Renegade supplied all this stuff, and while this is 98% of the Renegade stuff, I saw an opportunity to do something a little bit different and a little bit better in my opinion, which is why you see all this shrouding here. When I cut the front of the car open to allow room for the rad, there seemed to be an opportunity to move the rad further forward and further down to give it more exposure to the grille and allow more fresh air to get into the rad. So basically that's what we ended up with. So the car went back to our friends at Centerline Motorsport, and Renee and the boys fabbed up some pretty beefy mounts that ironically I was kind of saying that it's now turned this rad into a strut tower bar because of the huge towers that he's built to support it. But
okay.
We end up now with a completely enclosed system that's sort of as exposed as possible from a fresh air standpoint, and then allows all the air to spill through the rad and then down here and away from the car.
We got more flat black stuff happening here. This is the cover for the radiator, which obviously seals it all up because it exits underneath the car.
That's right.
But we've removed the fasteners so you can see everything underneath.
Yeah, so it's a pretty basic setup where now the rad is mounted. The nose of the rad is low and in the bumper.
Yeah.
You know, the purpose of this was to come up and be in line with the fuel cell, so that everything seals nicely.
Yeah.
Enough room behind for access to hoses and fans, and then it all spills down under the car. So here's another just a good look at the Renegade fuel cell that comes with their kit. And all in all, a tidy package.
It's not hooked up yet, Dan.
It's not hooked up yet, no.
What's going on, buddy?
And in fact, we need a couple of little bolts as well.
Okay.
Still a work in progress.
Well, that may segue well to why we're here at MV Auto and not in your home garage.
Maybe. We're out of time.
Dan's been a busy guy with the new company and all that, so
yeah.
He's blessed Enviado with his presence, and they're gonna button all this stuff up, aren't they?
That's right. So
That's the plan.
Dove and the boys, we had a meeting yesterday to just kind of go over all the last little bits and pieces, and quite frankly, it's a lot of this sort of annoying little stuff for me that they're going to take care of and tidy up for me. And you know, we had a goal yesterday that this thing leaves Enviado under its own power. So that'll be happening soon.
Well, we'll do heaters in the parking lot. The neighbors will love that.
No doubt.
There's also some cool stuff inside. Why don't we have a peek at the interior?
Check it out.
Looks like Dano's got all the 911 goodies in here. Door cards are missing, but you said they're going to be RS door cards?
Yeah, so the plan on this car is to basically just have a seat and a steering wheel. No HVAC, no stereo, no creature comforts, which means everything inside here is light. So we've got RS door cards, we've got RS carpet kit, Recaro pole positions, an aim dash on a C3 Composites custom little carbon fiber dash panel, and then everything to make it a little bit streetcar-y has been covered in Alcantara just to kind of look the part.
Yeah, and he even put the Mullet Mustang steering wheel in there. Nice Momo prototipo. Probably a more fitting wheel for a car like this than it is for the Mustang, but that's just how we roll, PT. I think we're putting that wheel in your 911, aren't we?
Yeah, I think that's the plan.
We're going to take the wheel
We're
out of
gonna
your
do a
911.
swap.
We'll do a wheel swap. We may call our Mustang the Mullet, but this thing is really a party out back, isn't it? Turbo is just hanging here. Renegade cradle. I'm ready to do some chin-ups here. I might pull the car off the hoist if I did, because I'm just that massive. Anyway, Dano, it's good to see the engine in the car. It seems to fit beautifully. I love how badass these dump tubes look. They're cut at like that Klingon / angle to give it an angry look, and exhaust routing is clean and simple. I mean, with everything in the back, there's not a lot of exhaust, is there?
Yeah, there wasn't really much you could do. The only stipulation was I wanted kind of an angle cut, 4-inch exits.
Yeah.
All ceramic coated. So it is what it is. But
is there anything left to do back here that's sort of a big ticket item, or is it?
No, from a big ticket item, no. We've just got to do some coolant hose routing to feed the pump and get it up into the motor. So actually, similar to what the boys did on their drift car here, we're going to do some hard lines front to back to make sure that the coolant actually makes the trip to the front of the car and back.
Good call.
But we'll connect that all to the water pump.
Pete and Dan were actually down in Vegas, and they went and paid a visit to Renegade Hybrids to see how all this stuff is fabricated. So, Pete, cut to that.
Well, welcome. So thanks to the power of the internet, here we are in sunny Las Vegas. And because we're here, we had to take the opportunity to go see Scott Mann over at Renegade Hybrids. As you guys know, Scott is the owner of the company that's built the cradle and the kit that allows me to do what I'm doing for my 911 back in Toronto. So we're here, and this is Scott, the man himself, and we're actually under one of his new projects. So there's obviously lots of cool stuff going on here. So Scott, what are we looking at?
Well, first of all, you can't really tell from the underneath side because it's the dirty side, although you see some clean parts. But this is a Cayman S, a 2008 Cayman S. We just hung the motor and the transaxle with our conversion kit. That would be the cradle that you see here, the adapter kit and all that sort of stuff. We just hung it today so that you guys could see some of the stuff that we do. A little bit of clearancing on the front wall allows the accessory package to fit very nicely. The cradle system actually strengthens up what little bit of clearancing we've lost that's right up in here. We put a collision bar that's up here, so just in case you have the unfortunate circumstances of being in an accident, whatever is occurring behind you doesn't come in and join you, so that would be unfortunate, and we've taken care of that provision. And what we've done is by strengthening this whole entire area, by taking this cross member, which is ours, this whole cradle setup that's here, tie it into the suspension, which is taking place of a piece that used to be here from Porsche, and then giving us the rubber isolators that are right up here. What we've done is we've strengthened the entire engine bay, the suspension, tied it all together, and given us a really great platform to be able to support the LS engine. So this particular LS engine is an LS7. This one dynoed at the crank at almost 700 horsepower. We are using the Boxster S transaxle, but we have done some provisioning to the Boxster S transaxle that has given it a little bit more strength. We've got oiling and cooling. We have a limited slip differential.
Your design here stiffens this car up more than it was leaving the Porsche factory.
Absolutely. The naysayers are always going to say, hey, you're putting more horsepower in it. What are you going to do to make it stronger? Okay, there's your answer right there.
And what about weight? I know people are going to be asking all about that. That heavy LS, not really, right?
I love it. I mean, the LS is like as big as a cruise ship as far as weight goes. No, not at all. Actually, what we do is, in most cases, especially with the 6 and 8 cylinder conversions that we do, we're either matching the original weight or taking weight off. In this particular case, the car will weigh almost exactly the same as far as the engine goes, the conversion and everything like that. Now we will add a little bit more weight, truth be told, because there'll be an AccuSump system, there'll be a large oil cooling system that the car never had before, and there'll be a few other provisions that will go into the infrastructure to make this car considerably better to handle the additional heat, the additional horsepower, et cetera, et cetera. But for the most part, you're not going to be adding much more than maybe 60, 80 pounds, and that's about it. So it's not bad at all.
And what about other applications? If people got Porsches and they want to, 996 you said is a good seller, and what else?
996s are our #1 seller. 944s, which we do have an example of one of those going together that we'll probably show you here in a minute. That's another one that sells like crazy, but of course we do 914s, we do all 911s all the way up through 997s, and I hedge on that because we haven't quite finished the 997 development.
Well, fantastic. So let's jump in a car and go for a ride.
That sounds great.